come in her own home.
That was a
So when we came home in the rest of us, I closed the house in Illingham. I did that.
Would it be better turned around?
And when we came to this country, my father had this house, and we came in the winter time to Maple Avenue. So my father said, now this is your house. So we had this little house.
When you first landed, what was your impression?
Well, all right. It was all right.
They went across the street and they had free lunch in Hoboken.
That's right. Oh, that was such a big thing. We had a free lunch in Hoboken.
The tavern.
See,
Everything was laid out.
Carl Kloof took us to this restaurant in Hoboken.
Actually, it was a tavern.
And we had a free lunch. We couldn't understand that. So we went to Elizabeth in this house. That was the rest of the family.
But tell us about walking up South Broad Street and all this cold and snowy night December.
That was beautiful.
Right? And Grandma opening the sliding doors.
No. My father.
Got there.
My father opened the sliding doors from the living room to the dining room, and he said, "Here, Caroline, that was my mother. There is your new home." And that was our house on Maple Avenue.
Was it Christmas time?
Yes,
when did you get here?
In December.
All right, so you walked up South Broad Street. Is this on? You walked up South Broad Street. Carl and who else?
Carl and Lena and Clara.
The kids.
The kids.
And Grandma with you. And Peter Joseph Schleck is already in the house. And he says now to my wife, now we are all together in America. And he opens this big door in the dining room.
Oh, that was beautiful. They had the dining room, the table set with coffee and cake in a beautiful house. So that was Maple Avenue for $4,000.
No kidding.
Oh, gosh.
God, that was a big house, too. My God, must have had 6 bedrooms in it or something.
$4,000.
Yeah.
I guess at that time it was a lot of money, though. I guess.
Because I think my father promised that he wouldn't send for Grandma until he had a house.
How old were the children? They must have been very young. Was Lena young? And,
Oh, sure,
They
Lena.
were all very
Lena
young.
Carl were young.
Did they have a baby then at that time?
I was 20.
Oh, no, she wouldn't.
No.
And the other ones were all younger.
Younger.
But the only one that was married was
Maria.
Maria, right?
And that's another story.
Maria was married.
Maria was married. And my father didn't let them know that wasn't such a good feeling between them two, because Pop Schlicker was a sport.
Schlicker was more of a
Playboy.
Yeah.
So I was told that my father was gone. A couple of days later, my mother told me, now you go to Schlicker's and tell them that Pop is gone. So right away, Pop Schlicker said, oh, then we are going too.
See, they didn't expect this.
They didn't expect that.
Yeah.
They didn't want them to come.
They owned a restaurant.
They owned the restaurant there. They didn't want them to come because they were not. Pop Schlicker was not a good
Provider.
No.
And later on, he was a great guy.
He made lots of babies, that's for sure.
Another baby, a great Giant fan. He took me to my first baseball game.
Yeah, I can remember.
Pop Schlicker was a great guy.
I can remember them talking baseball. I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't know first baseman from the
He
third.
took me to my first baseball game. He took me to my first All-Star game.
And we had relatives that time in Illinois from this country. So they said, well, all right, then take part of the kids going with them. So the part of them go with them to this country. And I was the last one with Grandma.
Tell us again once more, Mother. It was you and Carl and Grandma and who else?
Catherine.
On the boat.
On the boat. On the Thanksgiving. And you spent your first Thanksgiving.
On the boat.
You were on the Crown Princess and Cecilia, the North German Lloyd lines, right? All right. And of course, you didn't know about the American Thanksgiving.
No.
And on the boat, you celebrated your first Thanksgiving.
Right, that's right. And Carl Fluman, he was a friend of theirs. He lived in their hotel with Carl Schlickers.
Mm-hmm.
So he came with us. He was a bachelor. He was a widower. He came with us too.
Yeah.
And Richard Schlicker.
Okay.
And Richard Schlicker.
All right, then, on the boat, you celebrated Thanksgiving. And when did you land? On what day did you land? Do you remember what day you landed?
On the boat, we celebrated Christmas.
No,
On the
Thanksgiving.
boat, no, on the boat we celebrated Grandma's 50th birthday anniversary.
Oh.
And I know we had a bottle of wine on the table.
What was her 50th? What was Grandma's butt stop?
50,
What day? What day?
November.
November what?
November the 30th.
All right.
And we came November the 17th, the 7th or something.
Right.
We came to this
So
country.
Grandma was 50th year on the boat.
On the boat.
All right.
That's right.
And then,
And then, yeah.
so,
Then we landed in Maple Avenue. And then I was in Maple Avenue 6 months, and then your father bought it. My father bought it this little store, and I went on the little
He was going from
street.
8 o'clock, it was an hour because his class.
Oh,
Very good, okay, you're tired of talking.
yeah, okay.
on the boat.
For grandma, it was the hardest thing to do. For us, it was an adventure, but for her, it was to leave.
But she was 50 on the boat.
On the
And you were on the boat in November 1907.
That's right,
Right,
1970. And Pullman's Jacob was with us, and we ordered a bottle of wine because we had a bottle of wine.
Now, Foreman Jacob, I remember we used to go visit him in Newark.
Yeah,
He was a friend from Germany already.
He was a friend from Karl, from
Karl Klug?
from the Schlickers, no, from the Schlickers. He bought it there.
Now, was his name, you always called him Foreman's Jakob, was his name Jakob Foreman?
Jakob Foreman.
You called him backwards, in other words.
But in Germany, you
Yeah,
do
you
it
call
this
him
way.
I remember going to see it.
Did you go first class on the boat?
No, second class.
Second class.
No, maybe, I don't know. Because
Didn't go
one,
steerage anyway. Huh?
no, we come second class. We come second class. We were the last ones that left Europe from our farm.
How did the
Was
rest
it a
of
rough trip on the boat coming over?
No.
Nice trip.
No,
In
North
November,
Atlantic?
could have been
Yeah.
terrible.
Nice.
How many days did it take? 7?
Gee, I don't know. 7 days. We had a nice
Well, it was
time.
not you weren't seasick.
No, we got seasick, and then Grandma said to us, "See, we had so many different foods to eat there." She said, "Now from now on, eat the food what you're used to."
Yeah.
And then we didn't. Then
Well,
it
this
was
was
all
a
right.
German, North German Lloyd line, so you had German
North
cuisine.
And it left from where? Bremen?
Bremerhaven.
Bremerhaven, yeah.
You took a night train to Bremerhaven. The last night in Germany was in Bremerhaven. And then you went from Bremerhaven to Hoboken, right?
Yeah, that's right. And Karl Klug was in Hoboken to
meet
meet
you.
us. To meet us. So we had no trouble coming
You didn't
in.
have to come through Ellis Island because you were sponsored.
No, he was.
If you're not sponsored, you had to go through Ellis Island.
That's right. Yeah, we had no snow, we were sponsored. And we went right to Maple Avenue.
Hey, tell Christina it costs so much money.
Oh,
Christ.
Did she call collect?
No, not more since she got a phone. She has her own apartment, she doesn't call collector. Daddy doesn't have to pay for last month.
Oh, boy.
This month we paid.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mother. Happy birthday to you.
On your 96th.
96.
September 12th, 1983.
87. 1987.
18.
Oh, born in 1887.
1887. I hope you all going to make it to great grandma's age.
So do I.
96.
So do I.
We're gonna make it to year 100.
Yeah, we're gonna make it tonight. I hope we'll make it. That's what they mean. We're gonna make it.
I'm not so sure about us, but she's gonna.
We're gonna make it. That's what she's saying.
You'll make it.
All right, now all the kids, all the kids
I hope you all going to make it.
All right.
Okay, who's
Wait,
missing?
Patrick doesn't have one. Tara, you got one? Mary, everybody? Does everybody have a drink? Joan? Jack?
Here's a thing for grandma.
Mother,
96.
to your 96th birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mother. Happy birthday to you.
They never made the sweet Adelines, I'll tell you.
And we'll all be here for your 100th. Hey.
Let's make a date for 100.
You want too many movies.
Here comes the cake.
Happy birthday.
You got 95 candles on there?
Like Uncle Carl and everything.
He enlarged them. He enlarged them.
He married the business. Got the girl and the business.
You got them in the business.
No.
She was a good catch, my mother. My mother had
And
money.
just, I remember your mother as being very attractive. Tiny,
Tiny little woman.
tiny,
My mother-
and very straight.
Polka dot.
When
blue
she
dress.
walked, I remember this as a little girl. So
How do you know?
Because I lived next door to grandma's,
To Aunt Lena's.
To my Tentaco.
To Aunt
to
Lena's.
Uncle
We were
Richard.
high school
Firstly, when I was a
We knew
little,
each other.
Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
We were high school.
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh,
She'd
when-
have all that insurance.
when it gets bigger.
In other words, and my Aunt Mary Ann lived next to two of my cousins.
Thank you.
What?
Joe
That's how
Slack
you
and
know
then next to
everybody.
Madeline.
When I was a little girl, I was in first grade, we moved to Madison Avenue.
Near, well, you know where Aunt Anna lived on Madison.
Right.
Or down the
But
street.
down the
Okay.
street.
By North End, by that park.
Down the street. And I lived next door to
Aunt Lena.
Uncle
Aunt
Richard.
Caroline.
And
Caroline.
Caroline.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
Uncle Richard.
Uncle Richard. Yeah.
Who, by the way,
Yeah.
had 4 super-looking sons. The baby of whom was a little bit older than I, and he grew up to be such a handsome young man.
Which one?
Yeah.
Joseph, and I
Oh, that's
was,
the youngest one,
oh yeah,
Joseph.
and I went out with Joseph.
You did?
Uncle Ron.
Oh,
I
several
didn't, I
times.
didn't know that.
Charming person.
I didn't know that.
Really laid on, Jerry.
You was not the first one.
Oh,
She was pining away from me all the time.
no. I never found her. And anyhow,
Any way to get into the family. Any way to get into the
I
family.
don't need any more drinks.
Don't give her any more.
Then we moved to Perth Amboy and lived with my mother's 2 sisters for a while. And when we moved back on Monroe Avenue, and we moved 2 doors down from Aunt Lena
Lena.
and Uncle Oscar.
Trying to get back into the family.
But when I was little and lived next door to Uncle Richard, I would see your mother coming down, and I don't know where she was
Well,
coming from.
Yeah, well, I better tell you
Well, now,
something.
that may have been
Huh?
his mother, Mrs. Stevens.
No, it
Grandmother.
wasn't.
But they lived, the other grandmother lived with her.
No.
can't argue
This
with
is, I want to tell you something. Grandma, after she sold the house, she lived with this one and she lived with that one. She lived with me for a while. That's how you met her on Madison Avenue, because she lived with Richard for a while.
And
Yeah.
she would come in
Yeah,
and
but
she
your
would,
mother, not in her time, she's too young. Grandma was already in Buffalo all those years.
Oh,
Maybe
no,
she
no.
went to visit Richard,
She-
she saw her.
I don't know where, but I would
See,
see her
because
coming.
Caroline's mother lived with Caroline for years.
That's right. That's right.
See, I don't remember that. I don't remember Aunt Caroline.
Oh, you met Caroline's mother. She lived with them.
No.
No? All right.
No,
She
your
lived
mother.
there. All right.
I never,
think
we
that's
did
something.
not live there when Aunt Caroline's mother lived there.
Oh, she lived
She was
there.
a female.
I remember your mother, and she was,
Well-
and I remember
Well,
some
she came to
pictures of your
visit
mother.
them then.
Tiny
And she
little
was
woman.
tiny, and she
Tiny
was as straight as
Tiny
a
little woman, we used to
step.
genuflect when she came.
And when she, and very spiffy looking, very